My name is Freddy Blanco. I live in Iligan City with my wife Angie and my two kids, Ralph and Andy. My life is simple. I wake up before the sun comes up and run. Go home, work, sometimes run again in the afternoon. That's the weekdays. On weekends, instead of the beach or staying at home like most families, we head to the mountains. Running in the trails is just what we do. It should be obvious by now that I love running, but I haven't been always a runner. Growing up, I was into BMX, which for the record is a much cooler hobby. But BMX gets complicated when you have a family, a job, and kids to raise. Running is a better fit for adult life. So I started in 2016, at 28 years old. No dramatic backstory. I just wanted to get fit. But nobody warns you that easy morning jogs are a gateway drug. Next thing I know, I'm signing up for races, road races, trail races, you name it. I collected way too many finisher shirts and medals. I won some of those races too. Podium moments, trophies, the whole thing. But throughout all of it, there was one race that sat at the very top of my running bucket list. The hardcore 100 miles. H1. That's what we call it. It's the first ever 100-mile trail ultra in the Philippines. Filipino trail runners have a name for it. The final exam. 100 miles or 160 kilometers on foot through the mountains of Cayapa. Approximately 10,000 meters of elevation gain and loss, mostly on single-track, rugged, unforgiving trails. And you have to finish it within a 42-hour cutoff. At the time of editing this video, across all 10 editions of this race, 1,093 runners have stood on the starting line. Only 554 have crossed the finish line. That's a 50.7% success rate. That's the dream race. The plan is to finish H1 3 times in 3 consecutive years. Earn the Hall of Fame plaque, document all of it, and turn it into something worth watching. That's what you're watching right now. May 18, 2023. My first H1. And the year I learned how little I actually knew. I came into this race thinking my years of trail running had prepared me. They hadn't. Not for this. You can train hard, study the route, test your gear, run back-to-back 50 kilometers training days, and still arrive at the starting line fundamentally unprepared for what 100 miles in the Cordilleras actually cost you. That humility, I didn't brought it with me. H1 gave it to me. Somewhere around kilometer 100 when my legs were done, but the race wasn't even close to over. The first thing this race taught me is that your ego will destroy you faster than the mountains will. I ran the downhills too fast in the first half. Every experienced trail runner knows you protect your legs on the early descents because the real race starts in the second half. I knew this, and I ignored it anyway. Carried away by the energy of being in this place I dreamed about for years. I was having too much fun. I paid for that decision for the next 110 kilometers. My quads were finished. Downhills that I should have been running, I was walking. It's a very specific kind of suffering. Knowing exactly what mistake you made and having to live inside the consequences of it for hour after hour. The second thing this race taught me is that sleep is not optional. It's a weapon, and I showed up unarmed. I thought I understood fatigue. I've done 24-hour races. I thought I knew where my limit was. Each one showed me I didn't even know where my limit began. The second night, somewhere on the climb toward Mount Ugo, I was no longer really awake. My body was moving, but my mind had partially checked out. On trails where losing focus for a moment can put you off a cliff. I got lucky, my friend Yoyong was with me. We kept each other company. We grabbed a short nap at the Molpos aid station and pushed through. The third thing, the small decisions you think don't matter, they're the ones that might end your race. I got lazy about changing my shoes and socks at the aid stations. It felt like a waste of time when I was already behind where I wanted to be. By the time the blisters made themselves known, running was no longer a real option. A small action, like changing socks that might take a few minutes to do, cost me hours on the back end. But here's what I also learned. Stubbornness is underrated. Every time I thought my race was finished, I came back to the same calculation. The training hours, the early mornings, the weekends away from my family, the money spent, all of that was already paid. The only questions was whether I'd collect on it or not. That thought, more than any physical fitness, is what got me to the finish line. "35 hours and 56 minutes. 7th place overall. H1 2023 was the second hardest edition in the race's history. Only 45 of the 158 starters finished. I was one of the 45. Standing at the finish line with my anito unbuckled, I thought maybe once is enough. What was left to prove? I had to find a reason to come back. It didn't take long. May 24, 2024, my second H1. The year I thought I had figured it out. I didn't. But I came back better. Mark, my training buddy, who DNF his H1 2023, was returning to settle the score. His sister Chloe was finally ready to join us. And my wife Angie, an experienced trail runner herself, signed up for the 50-mile category. The mountains of Cayapa were about to meet people I love. That changed something about how this year felt. My wife Angie started running the same year I did, 2016. She'd spent enough weekends waiting at my finish lines that eventually she decided to just run the race herself. A 5K turned into longer distances, road ultras, trail ultras. Being a runner herself, she understood why I was giving 3 years of my life to this. She never complained when I came back home exhausted from training. She helped me prep my gear the night before long runs. She made the sacrifices that come with being married to someone chasing something like this. Having her join this journey meant something I didn't fully have words for. I wanted her to see what I've been chasing. I also knew exactly how much it was going to test her. I came into year 2 with a clear diagnosis of everything year 1 had broken. More elevation training, more mileage, proper sleep deprivation simulation. 4 of us trained together from January through May, finishing with a back-to-back 50-kilometer long run. I thought I'd solved it. I thought knowledge plus preparation would equal a cleaner race. The mountains disagreed. The lesson of year 2 is this: knowing what can go wrong and preventing it from going wrong are two completely different skills. I knew the sleep deprivation was coming. I'd planned for it. And I still mistimed my caffeine badly enough that by the time the wall hit on the climb from Galsa toward Pito, there was nothing I could do about it. Running was impossible. I was just sleepwalking. Then the fueling collapsed. Everything I ate at Pito aid station came back up a few kilometers later and kept coming long after there was nothing left. No food means no energy. No energy means even walking becomes a negotiation with your own body. That stretch, somewhere in the darkness between Pito aid station and the next aid station, surviving on chicken broth and Coke, because that's literally all my stomach would accept, was the lowest I've felt in 3 years of doing this. I found a flat rock beside the trail and lay down. Right there on the mountain, middle of the night. I didn't care about the time. I didn't care about anything. I just needed to stop and sleep. What I learned in that moment is that races always finds the things you haven't fixed yet. Year 1, it was my legs and my sleep. Year 2, I'd addressed the legs, so the race found my stomach. It will always find something. The question is whether you have enough left to survive it. That nap on the side of the trail was only 20 minutes. I woke up still depleted, but with just enough to move. So I started the slow march to the next aid station, finding what my stomach would accept, taking note, repeating at the next stop. Chicken broth here, a sip of Coke there. What started as a crawl slowly became a walk. Not a fast walk, but a walk with direction. When the sun came up, something in me came back online too. And eventually, I made it to Mount Marikit. After everything the night had thrown at me, standing up there and looking at the view reminded me exactly why I keep coming back to these mountains. It's not about the race. It's about what the mountains show you when you've suffered enough to deserve the view. 37 hours and 23 minutes. 4th place overall. At the finish, I waited for Angie, for Mark, for Chloe. Sadly, Angie didn't finish. Her race ended at kilometer 60. Only 2 runners completed the 50-mile category. The weather had made the cutoffs nearly impossible. She told me she was fine with it, that she enjoyed the race. But I know her. It was her first DNF, and that stings, no matter how you frame it. I didn't say much when I saw her. I just held her. I knew she'd given everything she had out there. And sometimes the mountains don't care about your preparations or your sacrifices. That's the hardest truth in this sport. And she learned it the same way I did, the hard way. What she brought back though was her own footage, her own stories, and a completely new understanding of what these mountains are. She even said she'd come back one day and finish it. I believe her. Mark finished, Chloe finished. The 3 of us, who had talked about this race for years, finally had our anitos and buckles. We brought them home to Iligan. 2 down, 1 to go. I'd already given 2 years. What's one more? May 1, 2025. My third and final H1. The year everything I'd learned was finally put to use. And the year the mountains reminded me they always have one more test ready. I came back alone this time. No Angie, no Mark, no Chloe, just me. Training alone strips everything back. There's no one to keep pace with. No one to talk to on the long mountain runs. No external energy to borrow when yours runs out. What you're left with is just you and the trail and the honest truth about where you actually are. I pushed harder than I ever had in training. More distance, more elevation. Standing on the starting line for the third time felt nothing like the first two. Year 1 was terror. Year 2 was determination. Year 3 was something quieter. A kind of readiness I'd never felt before in a race. Not confidence exactly, more like acceptance. I knew what was coming. I made peace with it. Around me were familiar faces, some of them on the same 3-year journey. If we finished, we would earn a permanent Hall of Fame plaque. Since H1 began, only 50 plus runners have ever received one. I was one finish away. The night section, always my weakness, finally went the way it was supposed to. Caffeine timed right, taken early enough to work before exhaustion arrived. For the first time in 3 years, I moved through the darkness without fighting it. That alone felt like a small victory. The sunrise at Babadak, the highest point of the course, the climb that had broken me many times, now felt almost familiar, almost like home. I looked out at those mountains and thought, I'm going to miss this place. 3 years of suffering up and down this section, and somewhere along the way, I'd fallen in love with it. For the first time across all 3 years, I had the fitness and the energy to actually document the race the way I'd always intended. In year 1, I was surviving. In year 2, I was surviving harder. In year 3, finally, I could look up, move through the course like a student photographing their school before graduation. Every viewpoint, every section where a memory lived, not racing anymore, just saying goodbye. The most important thing I brought into year 3 wasn't fitness, it was self-knowledge. After 2 years, I finally knew my own pace. Not the pace that I wanted to run, but the pace my body could actually sustain across 160 kilometers. I knew my fueling windows, my sleep thresholds, my caffeine timing down to the hour. I knew which sections of the course broke me and why. That kind of knowledge doesn't come from research. It comes from failing the right things in the right order until the pattern becomes clear. And then because it's H1, and H1 always has a surprise, the weather turned at the second night. I linked up with Marvin and Yoyong at the Molpos aid station, and we pushed together through the night toward Mount Tugu, where I finally took a 20-minute nap. I woke up to sunrise, standing on top of Mount Tugu, watching the sky go from black to orange. There's no clean way to describe what that felt like. A happiness, yes, but a bittersweet one. I was going to finish this race and complete everything I'd set out to do, and that meant the journey will be over. There's a photo of me taken on that summit by Likhang Liwanag. The brightness of the sunrise on my face, and behind me, the mountains still wrapped in fog, half light, half dark. I think that photo captures the feeling better than I can put into words. Joy and sadness at the same time. An ending that feels like both a graduation and a goodbye. I slowed down deliberately for the final stretch. I wanted every kilometer to last. Our small group moved together. No urgency, just presence. There was a calm I never felt in this race before, and I didn't want to outrun it. 3 years of early mornings, long training runs on weekends I could have spent at home, money that could have gone elsewhere, versions of myself that were always half thinking about the next race, the next training block, the next trip to Cayapa. I had sacrificed more than I had ever fully admitted. Time away from Angie, the kids growing a little older while I was on a mountain somewhere. It was time to give that back. 38 hours and 1 minute, 12 plays overall, my slowest finish in 3 years. 3 races, 3 finishes, 3 buckles, 3 anitos, 1 Hall of Fame plaque. Goal complete. My H1 journey started like a jigsaw puzzle. I didn't know how to make the pieces fit. I wasn't even sure if I had the right pieces. But the only way to solve it was to start, to do the work, 1 year at a time, and trust that the pieces would eventually find their place. And they did.